Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at Energy Fuels. It is time for another update, and this stock has just broken the levels of support we were tracking for direct continuation to higher prices internally within this structure. However, this does not mean this chart has become bearish. This does not mean we don't have a path forward where we would still be able to extend to higher prices. In fact, I do have a quite promising trade setup to share here today. But it does mean that the structures we have been tracking in the previous video, a couple of days ago, need some updates. So, previously we have shared a number of different interpretations where we would like still to extend to higher prices, right? Primarily, we weren't too satisfied for this to be the actual wave 5 for this larger pattern we were tracking. Sure, technically it could work out, but I still find it to be a rather unlikely outcome. And in this case, we have a few scenarios on how this structure could still extend to higher prices. We would be able to track a larger A, B, C pattern. I probably like this path the least. We don't even track it actively on the chart. I could look at this to be a larger ending diagonal in a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's a bit more acceptable. But then I could also look for this wave 4 to still be in formation in the area of a wave 4 triangle in an A, B, C, D, E. And I would really like for this to work out because this would allow a quite strong breakout within wave 5. It would still allow the wave 5 to be building an impulse, and continuation to significantly higher prices would actually be expected from any of these scenarios. Now let's actually walk through a couple of them because they actually share confluence in their current expectations. Let me show you. So we've had this white scenario where we would be tracking an ending diagonal where this wave 3 would be expected to build an ABC structure. In this interpretation, we could have built even a further extension of a 5-wave pattern, but I'm actually satisfied for this to have been the wave 3 up, for this to be something like a wave 4, but down here instead, and this could work out as the wave 5 to the upside. We weren't too trusting of this being the wave 5 any longer because, as shared in the previous video, we built only 3 waves in this movement, and within the wave 5, since we were tracking an overall leading diagonal in this structure, we needed to build an ABC pattern. Right? The wave 5 needed to build an ABC pattern, and the wave C is a 5-wave structure. Since we haven't built 5 waves within this movement to the upside, we have to consider that instead this wave 4 would have bottomed here. Perfectly valid, I actually don't have a problem with this, and the wave 5 would have gotten rejected very nicely in the channel as you would typically expect within such a structure. It's actually textbook, it's perfect even. So, this is one interpretation where I would actually have either a wave 1 up within the larger wave C or a wave A up within the larger wave 3. In both of these scenarios, I can track a larger 1-2 setup. I can look for continuation to higher prices. I actually have a quite compelling area of support I can track for this reversal to take place at the levels between $21.6 down to $17.9. So this is actually quite interesting. I am looking for a reversal from this region from this trade setup perspective. And not only that, but now we go on to the second scenario where we have been looking to build a potential triangle in this wave 4 in green. And let me hide this orange support zone for the moment. Within this interpretation, we would have expected a possible bottom already within this as a wave 4 down here, but since we were tracking this movement to the upside to preferably be a 5-wave pattern, we have been looking to build an impulse within this as a wave 3. Since this failed, since we only have 3 waves in this movement to the upside, we have been looking to potentially build a larger initial 5-wave pattern in a larger 1-2 setup. This could have worked out perfectly, even within this interpretation, but we would have needed, within all of the previously tracked scenarios, to hold the internal levels of support for a potential wave 4 here, which has just failed yesterday. this is what I was saying in the beginning of the video, we failed to hold the relevant levels of support within this structure. This means that I can no longer track a wave E bottom to have been in place within this structure. I need to assume that the wave D has gotten a reset and the wave E would be forming a reset as well. In this case, I could be looking to bottom within this wave E in this exact orange area of support I have shared a moment ago for this idea of an initial 5-way move to the upside where I would have a 1-2 setup. I would probably prefer to bottom a bit higher in the 61.8% retracement area, but nonetheless, I would be tracking a similar area of support to complete this wave E within. Within both of these interpretations, for a full invalidation of this structure, I would actually need to see a break below the beginning of this entire movement to the upside, but below the 78.6% retracement, already the probabilities strongly shift into the favor of a failure to extend directly higher from these lows, right? I would typically expect a complete reset, potentially within the wave C in blue, thus building an even larger triangle, which is a perfectly realistic outcome, or potentially a larger reset of this wave 2 in white. Within all of these scenarios, however, I would be tracking this orange area of support for a reversal to higher prices. Whether this is within the white scenario, whether this is within the blue scenario, frankly, it doesn't matter at this point. I am tracking this exact area of support between $21.6 down to $17.9, and against it I am looking for continuation to higher prices. Now, let's take a look internally in this structure, and I can even identify a potential impulse to be in formation. The structure is going to be rather difficult to read, it's within a very small time frame, but I could be looking at something like a double 1-2-1-2 setup here, a wave 3 down, and this would have been possibly my wave 4, and I would expect here a wave 5 to take me a bit lower, and then another 4-5 pattern to complete a leading diagonal. Especially if we build such a structure, I would expect a larger correction within this as a wave 2, within this as a wave E. Frankly, it doesn't matter too much at this point, that's why we track this correction and support zone in orange. But even if it doesn't, I would probably still prefer a larger correction. So internally, we can track a resistance area for this interpretation, but again, I would not use a break of this area of resistance as a complete indication that this structure would successfully see a breakout. So far, in fact, this correction in a wave 4 has pushed perfectly into the ideal target, the 38.2% retracement, and already has gotten a quite nice rejection, but I would still not be making too many assumptions, especially as we are in a very, very dynamic market environment and things change rather quickly. So, in my primary expectation, I would like 2 more lows within this wave A if it is to build an impulse. Did I say leading diagonal earlier? I meant an impulse. I will add text to correct that in the video. But the idea is, within an impulse in this wave A, I expect this continuation to lower prices to continue. I expect another wave 4 and a wave 5. This would complete my wave A. I would then be looking for a larger wave B correction and then likely still one more low within a wave C. If this wave A is to form a bottom earlier, if we are to break these resistance levels even, I could see that the wave A would have built only an A, B, C pattern here. It is a full pattern within a flat, but I would still primarily expect a wave B and a wave C to form lower prices within this larger area of support we are tracking in orange. And for now, these are the levels, this is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoyed the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.